What is up, YouTube? This is Matt here, and there we go. And today I'm going to be starting a new video segment, I guess, called Everything You Need to Know to Start a Deck. And so basically I'm going to take the main cards from an archetype, and I'm going to kind of explain how to use the deck, what cards you need, some good tech choices, extra deck choices, stuff like that. Excuse me. So I'd like to start off with Gusto. I've played Gustos probably a year or two ago. I was playing a Quasar build with Junk Synchron, and it was before the new card. It was a lot of level 5 synchros, and now it's become more of a Freeze turbo deck slash synchro deck. And so I wanted to do this deck because I like it a lot. They just got a new card, so I feel like a lot of people are going to want to make the deck. And so I figured I'd put this video out here as to a little guide as to everything you need to know to be able to play Gustos. And maybe if you were thinking about making the deck, if you pulled a couple Pilicas or not, or whatever, maybe this video will influence you to make or not make the deck. So yeah, I'll just get into it. So the first thing that Gustos are really known for is the Recruiter loop, and that consists of Winda, Priestess of Gusto, Gusto Guldo, and Gusto Eagle. This is your recruiter engine. Basically what happens is you set one of the three. Doesn't matter which one, they all can get the others out. And so basically, say you set a Winda first. Winda's effect is when it's destroyed by battle with an opponent's attacking monster and sent to your graveyard, you can special summon a Gusto tuner from your deck. One of these two guys. Say you go with Guldo. When this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon a level 2 or lower Gusto monster from your deck. You can go with one of these guys. And then, if Eagle is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a level 4 or lower non-tuner Gusto monster from your deck, which is Winda. So basically, this is the Recruiter loop. Yeah, that's enough said about that. The Gustos can be a really defensive deck, and so until you have all your combo pieces to make your plays go off, this is your main way of staying alive. This is your Recruiter engine. Obviously, Pot of Avarice was an amazing card for this deck when it was legal, and now Pot of Dichotomy, even though it's hard to find and it's a bit pricey, is a very good card for this deck. So this is the first thing you need to know. This is just the Recruiter engine, the Gusto loop, whatever you want to call it, consists of Winda, Guldo, and Eagle. And so, how does the deck incorporate the new card Pilica? Basically, Pilica is a wolf bark. When it's normal special summon, you can special summon a wind tuner from your graveyard and face up defense. And so most of the time it's either going to be Guldo or Eagle, your two Gusto tuners, level 1 and level 3. And so this makes for some cool plays. The only bad part about using Pilica's effect is you have to special summon wind monsters for the rest of the turn. So it does make it a little hard to use when you want to go for different options. But a lot of the time what you're going to be doing is you're going to be special summoning Gusto Guldo in defense, and then sync for 6, and you're going to be going for the main synchro monster of the deck, Gusto Freeze. And what Freeze does is it's a level 6 psychic, 2k attack, 13 defense, from Hidden Arsenal 6. When this card is synchro summoned, you can target a Gusto card in your graveyard, add that target to your hand, which is most of the time going to be your Pilica, so you can make another Freeze or go for a rank 3 wind. Yeah, and then she can't be destroyed by battle, and any battle damage you would take involving a Gusto monster is instead inflicted to your opponent. So that means, say your opponent has a 4k beater on the field, and you have a Freeze and this out. You attack with Pilica, this gets destroyed and your opponent takes 3k damage. You attack with a Freeze, this isn't destroyed and your opponent takes 2k damage. Freeze can be a really nasty card because it doesn't allow, how should I put this? It doesn't need monster removal. The deck does not need monster removal to win a game. The deck needs a lot of defense and then a quick counterattack to be able to get out Freeze. And the beautiful thing about the Recruiter loop is when, except for Winda, Goldo, and Eagle, or when it's like destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, or when it's sent to the graveyard. So if you have Freeze out and Goldo, you run into that 4K beater, your opponent takes all the damage you would, and then you get to special summon the Eagle off the Goldo. And then with Eagle, you can go and attack with 200 and be like, okay, and then you special summon Winda, and then you attack with 1,000, and then you don't get a special summon off of that. But right there, if you were attacking even into like a 25 beater, your opponent takes 2,000, 23, and 15. So that's still a ridiculous amount of damage, and Spree is really... The new support card, Pilica, really makes the deck be able to use Freeze a lot more, because as a Gusto player before Primal Origins, Freeze was run at 1 in the extra deck. If you could get it off, that's awesome, and it's a good card to get off. But before, this was very level 5 synchro oriented with Kamui and Goldo. And so Pilica really is exactly what the Gustos needed. So then for some tech cards, I really like running Tempest in the deck. I think Tempest is amazing just because the deck has no really sure way of getting a huge monster on board, and even though 2400 isn't massive, combined with your 3-star Goldo or your 1-star Eagle, your Tempest easily becomes a level 8 or a level 10 Synchro, which means you can turn a Tempest and a Goldo into a Leo, or a Tempest and an Eagle into like a Scrap, a Thought Ruler Archfiend, which is an amazing card in this deck, a Stardust, you know. So I really like Tempest as a tech card in the deck. Yeah, enough said. And then another tech card that I really like, Liberty at Last. In my testing, I haven't actually drawn this card too much, but it's a really fun card because a lot of the deck relies on being destroyed by battle, and so Liberty at Last is activating only when an opponent or when a monster you control is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard. Select 2 face-up monsters on the field and return them to the hand. So basically, if you're getting beat down by your opponent and like your Eagle goes to the graveyard by being destroyed by battle, you can activate this, bounce 2 of their monsters, and then still get your special summon off. So I really like Liberty at Last in the deck. It's a creative card, and no one really sees a double bounce coming, and it can really be a game changer because not a lot of stuff will protect against it. So those are some interesting tech choices. Another card that I actually do not have that I've been looking for a long ass time is Emergency Teleport. If you notice, from the actual Gusto monsters that you play in the main deck, your tuners are all wing beasts and your non-tuners are all psychics. So it's definitely an interesting combination of monsters, and it makes for some cool cards because psychic have a lot of like banishing support and stuff, and then wing beasts have some cool trap cards and like Icarus attack and stuff, so you could play Icarus attack if you really wanted to. But I like to play some psychic support, and Emergency Teleport lets you special summon a level 3 or lower psychic monster from your deck. You can do whatever you want with it, except it's banished during the end phase if it's still in the field. So Emergency Teleport will let you special summon Pilica, will let you special summon Goldo, and then go for your Freeze. So Emergency Teleport is an amazing card. You need to run 3 in the deck, and unfortunately I haven't picked up my copies yet. It's like a $15 card right now, so a little hard to come by. And then for some interesting tech choices in the extra deck, first off, I want to say if you're running Gustos now, you need to run Falcos. I'm just going to say this now because if you Pilica and your only target is an Eagle, you're stuck with a level 4 Synchro, and you don't want to, you can normal summon this and have an Eagle and start your Recruiter engine, but I think it's nice even to be able to go into a 4-star Synchro, because Falcos gives all Gusto monsters currently on the field when it Synchro summons 600 attack, including itself. So it becomes a 2000 beater, and it can really up, like, if you have, like, a Freeze on the field, it can put Freeze to 2600, and this is a permanent attack gain. So I think Falcos is really needed in the deck now, because if you have the Pilica and the Eagle, you don't want to have that dead on the field. The next tech card that is run in almost every Gusto deck now is Totem Bird. It's a secret rare from Lord of the Tachyon Galaxy, and it's 2 level 3 wind monsters and winged beast. And during either player's turn, you can detach both of its materials to negate the activation of a spell or trap card and destroy it. So this is a really good finishing touch. If you have like a freeze out and you don't want to go into a second freeze, you can go into a Totem Bird because it is a wind monster, so you can use Pilika's effect and go into Totem Bird. And Totem Bird is just good defense, like a good defensive card, because you can just run into shit over and over again with your Recruiter Loop and freeze, and then you have Totem Bird to back you up in case they have like a Mirror Force or Deep Prison or something like that. Totem Bird is a really good card in this deck. And then some other synchros that I like to talk about. Thought Ruler Archfiend. Thought Ruler Archfiend is an amazing card. I've always loved this card. It's a 27 beater, level 8 synchro. It's dark, which is kind of a bummer. I wish it was wind, but it's not a huge deal, because when you go for your Pilika plays, a lot of the time you just go for a level 6 or a rank 3. You don't really go for a level 8. But if he destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you gain life points equal to that monster's original attack. So if this runs over like a Stardust, you gain 2,500 on attack, or gain 2,500 life points on top of the 200 damage that you do to them. So Thought Ruler Archfiend is really good for getting life points back and getting yourself back into the game. And then you can pay 1,000 life points to negate the activation of a spell or trap card that targets a Psychic type monster and destroy it. So obviously he's a Psychic type monster. Freeze is Psychic. All of your non-tuners are Psychics. All of the Gusto Gusto Synchro monsters are Psychic. So Thought Ruler Archfiend builds in that extra protection on top of a Totem Bird and like a freeze. Like, this is a pretty hard field to beat because you can basically run into anything for damage. You protect these two with Thought Ruler and then a little extra protection with the Totem Bird. So I've always loved Thought Ruler in this deck, and I think it's well worth running a level 8 because if you can use Pilika during your opponent's turn and get around the condition that you can only summon wind monsters. So if you do it during your opponent's turn and the next turn you summon a level 2, which you have plenty of level 2s in the deck, you can go for a Thought Ruler Archfiend, which is awesome. And then the last card that I wanted to talk about in this video is a awesome card, Mistworm. Mistworm from Hidden Arsenal 1. He's a Thunder Synchro, 2,500, 15 defense, 9-star Synchro, and he's Wind. I think him being Wind is especially important because if you have like a dead Pilika on the field and you summon another one, you can go for a level 9, but you can only special summon wind monsters for the rest of the turn. So Mistworm being Wind is awesome. I really like it. I've made it numerous times in my build. Once I get a couple more cards that I'm looking for, I definitely want to profile my deck. But I wanted to get this video up there because I wanted to do something about Gustos, and it's a getting to be a popular deck with the new card. So, and if you don't know what Mistworm does, it's kind of important. When it's synchro summoned, you can return up to 3 cards your opponent controls to the hand. So he's a triple bounce on summoning, and then he's a 25 beater, which isn't amazing, but his effect is crazy. So if you can get a Mistworm off, like bouncing 3 cards is definitely devastating. It doesn't target, it's just amazing. Like, Mistworm's a really good card, and I think it's a very smart option to have in the extra deck. Because in a synchro deck, you never really know what is going to be on the field, and you just really want to anticipate all the possible combinations. So yeah, so that's my kind of getting to know Gustos. I guess I'll call this deck since I thought of that at the top of my head. Tell me if you like this segment. I can do my Constellars, I can do Prophecies, we got Gimmick Puppets, Light Sworns, Crystal Beast, Dark Worlds, Sylvans, Artifacts, Fire Fist, Fire Kings. We got all sorts of decks in our circle. So let us know what decks you want to see, even if it's something new. Suggest something to me. I always love building new decks, and I love new projects. So yeah, like and comment to the video, subscribe to the channel for some more shit, and I will see you guys soon.